Hey guys, Travis from the Third Gear Speed Shop with part 4 in the Freddy Smith Dirt Track Camaro build. So this week we're going to be focusing mainly on the chassis. I do have some updates to show you on the body, but mainly we're going to be focusing on what's been done to the chassis. The decals arrived, but they're too big. So I need to figure out a plan B for the decals, which I'm sort of in the process of figuring all of that out. But in the meantime, we'll just keep going with the build, and decals aren't till later anyway. But yeah, the decals that I received in the mail are just a little too big for the body. So there weren't any dimensions online of how big the decals were, so that's just one of those things. But anyway, let me get the camera on the bench and I'll show you what I've done since last week. Alright, so before we get into the chassis, I just wanted to show you I've got this clip on the front. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just going to remove that, but I just wanted to show you these clips here. I got a pack of 3 of these at one of the craft stores. I can't remember which. There's the logo, if you can see that. It's a beading, something beading. Bead landing. Anyway, I got these at a craft store. 3 of them for pretty cheap. I can't remember, but anyway, they come in real handy. I've got these, and these definitely come in handy. These smaller, I don't know if you can see these smaller tipped ones really come in handy. Anyway, so as you can see, the front, I'll put on a light here so maybe you can see it a little better. So I got the front nose piece that I had cut in the, I think it was the second video, I can't remember now, but maybe that light is a little too harsh. Anyway, I got that glued on, and just by clamping it, I just put a little glue at the tip of the top, and then clamp that, let it dry, and then I moved down to the bottom and glued that, clamped it, let it dry, and then I just clamped it a little bit along, like 3 or 4 times along the side here. Now this side I have already done the top and bottom, and I still need to do a couple of them right here. But anyway, that really small, thin styrene lays against, follows the contour of the plastic really well when you use this stuff right here. And it actually, like I said before, it melts the plastic. And when you're using thin sheet styrene, it really forms a strong bond. So I've got that done. The body is coming along. I went ahead and finished these. I can't remember if I had finished those in the last video or not, the rear fender wells. And I sort of finalized the final shape of the rear. Still more to do on the body, but I've just been going back and forth from the body to the chassis to sort of break up the monotony of working on one thing all the time. So what I wanted to show you guys was what I've done to the chassis since we last made a video. So the main thing I did, let me just flip it around. One thing I did was put this center section in, the center cross member, and it actually had the truck arms attached for the rear coil springs. So I cut out the truck arms and just left this piece, and then I just took some thin I think it's 1.2 millimeter rod, and just, you know, kind of finish that out to make that look a little better. So I got that in. The main part of what I got done is this rear clip. So I cut 2 pieces of rectangular stock right here. If we flip it around, you can see the reinforcements I made just to make sure it's nice and strong. I put one here and one here, and then there's one that goes across here. So all that's really glued in with the styrene cement, nice and strong. And so it goes back, and then there's 2 more bars, one here, and then let me just, this, what you're looking at here is I'm mocking up my gas tank, so that just pops out of there. And while we have it out, I'll just talk about a little bit about it too. So this is my mock-up for my gas tank, and basically what I did was took a piece of this is just index card. So we're scratch building a gas tank because I don't have another one of those Chrysler kit cars. They come with a pretty cool short track gas tank. I don't have another one of those kits, so I'm just going to make my own. And basically what I did was measured everything out given this opening. I measured this opening, and then I just laid everything out on a piece of paper, measured everything, and then, you know, folded everything up. So I'll transfer this to my thin sheet styrene, fold everything up. I know it fits because it was in my opening nice and snug. So I'll just fold everything up. I'll probably put some angled stock in the corners to where I have a nice bond all the way around, and then that'll be my gas tank. I'll have to do you know, the inlet with the outgoing and you know, all the different you know, the filler hole and all that good stuff. So that'll be I'll still need to make that, but this is my general shape, and it fits into this opening that I made here. So the other thing, these shock mounts have been made, if you can see that, and if I could get a shock that fits. So this one fits right up in there, and then if you can see, it fits snug right in there. And so that'll be glued just like that, and then I'll go back on either side with some you know, like some shackle brackets. So that'll be glued in place. The chassis is going to be painted like a blue color, so I'll have to, after this is painted, I'll have to go back and paint the shocks kind of a metal color. But I need to glue these in to make sure I get my right height and my rear end and everything in place. But anyway, that's going to be later. And then the last thing was this bumper. So I had made a bumper for the last Camaro project I did, and just put it into the scrap bin. I keep a scrap bin. I'm sure you guys have them, but I just keep one handy. This is my scrap bin. So old roll cages that I've kind of messed up, or just trial run stuff. Anyway, just scraps, junk, some you know, there's some kit parts in there too. But anyway, I had this bumper in there already made, and it actually fit perfect. So, but basically all it is 2 pieces of stock. I don't know if you can see, they're sandwiched together and bent in the shape of the bumper, and then these bars here, I'll show you in a minute how they play into it, but I drilled a hole here and a hole in the bumper, and this is again 1.2 millimeter rod, and then this is 1.5 millimeter rod. I've drilled a hole here and here, and that's to protect the gas tank. So most of the roll cage is going to be this 1.5, or I'm sorry, 1.6. I think that's what it is, 1.6 millimeter, yeah. So the rear clip is done, and to show you guys sort of how it's kind of going to be tricky to show you, but basically the rear of the body fits down into that right there. So you'll see pictures, the pictures I had of the of our resource material has these bars going here to protect the rear end, and then so the spoiler will come up something like that. So that's where we are with the chassis. So the rear clip is pretty much done. Got to build the gas tank, and then we're going to turn our attention toward the front end. One thing before I go, I just took 2 pieces of angled styrene here, if you can see that, and then I went ahead and assembled my radiator, and I just filed off the mounting tabs here, and so that radiator, actually this little, if you can see where I filed away this here so that it fits in my channel like so. So that's my radiators gonna sit right in there like that. There'll be some more supports to make sure it doesn't go anywhere, but for now that's where the radiator is going to go. So I'm sort of just kind of starting at the bottom, base level chassis construction, and I'm going to be building my way up. So in doing so, we're going to be probably next episode, we are going to be talking more about the front end and my plans for that. We're going to be running coilover front springs. We're going to be custom building a rack and pinion, or scratch building a rack and pinion steering for it, and sort of getting the front end components in place. From there, we should be able to get our rear end mounted up and figured out, and start playing with ride height. So, and then maybe get into some roll cage stuff. So I didn't want to get too far ahead, but that's sort of what you can look forward to in future episodes. So I'm glad you guys are sticking with this one. It's you know, it's definitely gonna be a while before we get into paint, but you know, I love this sort of chassis fabrication. I think this is the part of the project that I love the most, is figuring out you know, all the chassis mods, and definitely once we get into building roll cages and stuff, and that to me is probably the most fun part of the project. But we will be getting into that in future episodes, so stay tuned for that. All right guys, well, thanks for watching. Have a good holiday weekend, and we'll see you next week.